Greetings. Today on the Gentlemen's Scholars Club, I want to introduce you to an under-the-radar Asian classic menswear brand, Casa del Sarto, House of the Tailor or Tailor's House in Italian, located in South Korea. Casa del Sarto primarily sell their items through Andrea Seoul, whom we may know due to their strong online and social media presence, also located in Korea, hence the name Seoul. Casa del Sarto is not hugely known at this moment because they only sell through certain local menswear stores. They don't have an e-commerce website at this point. They do have a Naver blog, which seems to have been posted to only up to around 2019 or 2020. They have a social media account, but not a massive number of followers there either. So to secure their menswear, you either have to buy online through Andrea Seoul or visit a local menswear boutique located either in Bangkok, Singapore, Sydney, Australia, Edmonton, Canada, or Seoul. So though we don't have a mega channel here, I'm hoping that talking about them will help spread the word and bring attention to them to a larger global audience because I really like what they offer, and I'll show you why. So in terms of their fabric offerings and their price point, Casa del Sarto occupies sort of a middle of the road. You won't find really bright colors, you won't find loud patterns like you might see at Suit Supply. Instead, because the clientele of Andrea Seoul and thus Casa del Sarto are mostly businessmen, you'll find a lot of menswear staples, solids in suiting, classic patterns, traditional patterns like houndstooth, gun check, and herringbone. In the summertime, maybe you'll get a little bit more excitement through ivory linen suits or cotton suiting in shades of green or tan, but they're never over the top and they don't go far beyond that in terms of loud or bold patterns or super bright colors. The fabrics that they do offer come from world-renowned mills such as Fox Brothers and VBC. This jacket is from VBC. It's a puppy tooth or a small houndstooth in black and white and reads as a gray. Also have a herringbone brown Fox Brothers tweed, which is quite spongy and hairy, so very traditional tweed. Has interest to it. I love it. Also not over the top, and so fitting into that perfect middle ground. Price point wise, they're positioned as an alternative to a ring jacket. Now in the United States and Europe, ring jacket tends to be highly priced, whereas in Asia it is more in the moderate range. Casa del Sarto occupying a similar price point equivalent to the Asian ring jacket. Roughly around the cost of Cavor in Europe, higher price than Spear & Mackay and Suit Supply in terms of their standard offerings, and a little bit higher than their full canvas as well. House style is Italian influenced, as the name Casa del Sarto would suggest, and I'll show you what that looks like on this jacket. First of all, the shoulders are natural. There's no additional padding, and they cascade down into the spalla camicia or the shirt sleeve shoulder. So very much like a shirt, no additional padding on the shoulders. The shoulders are, however, extended, meaning the sleeve head extends beyond where your natural shoulder ends. And to me, that's one of the defining features of Casa del Sarto's sport coats and suit jackets, which is that it gives you a little bit more of an aggressive shoulder stance. It broadens the shoulders because of the extension, and if you look at it straight on, I think you can see some of that aggression in the shoulder, which is something I really like. The angles of the shoulder sort of look like this to me, which adds to that drama and interest and attention to the shoulders without being over the top. Besides that, you have a high gorge, which is where the lapel meets the collar, forming a notch. This is placed up toward the shoulders as well, similar to what you might find in many Italian Neapolitan jackets, and different than what you see at the Anthology, where the gorge is lower down toward the chest. This serves to help broaden the shoulders as well and reinforces the effect of the extension that I had previously mentioned. Below that, you have a barchetta pocket, slightly curved, again in the Neapolitan fashion. Pocket is shallow, which is an interesting thing I discovered. It's not as deep as other brands, and so you can't jam a really large pocket square in there. So stick with smaller pocket squares if that's something you do. Definitely not a deal breaker, but an interesting thing that I noted in wearing this with pocket squares. On the lapels, you have a Milanese buttonhole, which is something a lot of connoisseurs of classic menswear appreciate. The closely stitched buttonhole, the threads around here are really finely sewn, and so that's a sign of quality tailoring and attention to detail in the brand. The lapels themselves are broad and taper down into a 3-roll 2 button stance, so 3 buttons with the top button hidden or folded underneath the lapel, so effectively a 2 button. And then another really strong feature of Casa del Sarto is the curve of the front panel of the jacket. If you trace it from the top to the bottom, there's this really nice arc that ends in an open quartered front, open quartered skirt, and that's again a Neapolitan thing, right? The open quarters, which add drama to the lower half of the jacket. You can see this especially when the jacket is open, but even closed and looking at it from the front, very characteristic Casa del Sarto. Once you've seen it, you can't forget it. You recognize that curvature, and you also recognize the shoulder structure, also done without additional padding. Casa del Sarto jackets are fully canvased as far as I know, ones I've looked at, and they don't come with buttons on the sleeves. The buttons are provided, but you have to go to the tailor to have those put on, and you probably will be making some adjustments to the sleeve length regardless. So that's also a sign of higher-end brands like Ring Jacket, where the buttons are not put on, and you can elect to make them functional working buttons, or you can make them faux buttons depending on your particular taste. So this jacket, out of the box, fit really well. Didn't have to do any adjustments. The chest and the waist were perfect. The shoulders as well, the right width. There was no collar gapping. Only thing I had to do was put on those sleeve buttons and adjust the sleeve by shortening. I do size up in Casa del Sarto, usually take a 48 or 38, 48 EU, 38 US, Casa del Sarto, 50 EU, 40 US. And I would do that as well with Japanese versions of Ring Jacket, though not with the Armory versions. So are you familiar with Casa del Sarto? Do you have any of their items? Have you looked at them? What do you think? Would you buy their jackets? Share that in the comments. Always appreciate seeing your viewpoints. Like the video as well, and follow us at the Gentleman Scholars Club for more brand introductions, discussion of classic menswear, and style tips. Cheers and thanks.